Why empaths attract narcissists. Here's the truth. And a lot of you light working, healing, feeling type, beautiful beings may be a little triggered by this. Okay? Because I know our duty as an empath, as a light worker, is to help others, serve the collective, raise vibration, right? Here's the thing though. We're also here to have this very human experience. Feel all the feelings, the struggle that brings us through our upbringings, all those trenches we go in and evolve and emerge as a beautiful butterfly afterwards. Our evolution so we can serve others in a deep and meaningful way and even go deeper in our service by having the human experience. Okay, and here's the truth. We as empaths, a lot of the times, seek validation and approval. That's why we're always quick to lend a hand at the expense of our own energy, at the expense of our well-being. We would like to see and help others more than we would help ourselves, because it gives us that validation and approval. And I did that for a long time. Not that I stopped being an empath. Once I became an empath and realized my empathic abilities, and there have been some times where there was some, I almost called it telepathy situations, where this, I wasn't going to get into this, but might as well. I was at a party and there was like a 3-story house on New Year's, and at the very top, we were downstairs in the basement, and there was like a DJ set up and everything, and it was like everybody was partying, I was dancing, having a good time. Then all of a sudden I started like vomiting, like dry heaving, partying too much. And like the bathroom that was up the stairs from the basement was taken. And I knew there was one way upstairs. So I started booking it up the staircase, right? And at the very top of the staircase was this like, beautiful woman, my age. She was like 22, 23 at the time. And I saw him like, hey, what are you doing, like laying on the ground here? And she was just laying there, and she's just like kind of like napping, and she's like, I'm actually really sick. I don't feel very good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you here, right? And she's like, well, I felt fine, but I started feeling like a fever like coming up, and then she just got really sick. And then I'm like, and then all of a sudden what was weird is like my dry heaving as I was running up the stairs and like puking stopped. It like as I approached, like finally saw her there, like my feeling of being sick went away, and then when the realization of her being sick came into play, and in my thoughts I was like, whoa, you like telepathically called me over, like your emotion was so strong, and we connected a little bit over this, which is pretty cool. I was still really confused in the realm and curious. I thought it was like telepathy, but also, yeah, I felt her. I felt her from all the way up there. Now that I'm in the place where I'm at to understand what happened, is I felt this person's vibration where they were at, and my body responded. Okay, not that she was intentionally calling me over, because at first I thought like maybe she's some like alien hybrid, right? Like, and I'm just part of this like process thing, figuring it out. And I thought it was really cool. And she was also a human, like having the human experience. And anyway, I went to my car and got her some Tylenol. Anyway, I wasn't gonna get into that, but that is when I started realizing and started getting into the realm of what an empath is, because my whole life I could always feel other people. And this mainly started from childhood, from having a toxic and abusive dad, right? And I always had to tune into him to know how I can get my needs met. How can I, get out of the house and have a sleepover somewhere else? Like, what can I do so he can say yes, so I can go spend the night somewhere else, so I don't have to be stuck here, kind of situation, Like, I don't want to, I'm always walking on eggshells. So my third eye opened at a younger age. And that's what creates empaths most of the time, is they're put through this like pressure cooker situations in their lives to open up their third eyes. It was part of your life path, and you tune into other people, in a sense, while doing this, you also abandon yourself. You abandon yourself in the process while tuning in other people. And you forget how to service yourself. So this is what I meant by that. Now, because I'm only gonna make the 10-minute long video because of TikTok, so I only got 4 minutes to explain what I really wanted to go over. So now you know my empath story, right? And as I started discovering this, I started finding out less and less people around me were in this space. Being 20, 21, 22, like nobody around me was thinking about telepathy, energy, spirituality. No one I could connect with. And then going to EDM shows and stuff, every now and then I would meet someone where I could talk about aliens and whatnot. It wasn't deep or anything. And I do have some extraterrestrial experiences to share at some point, which I will. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. But my main point is, I became an empath. And then once I had this breakup, or also around this age, with a girlfriend of 2 years, my own worthiness went down because we didn't really have a healthy relationship, and I didn't know how to express myself. But either way, and we both did our best. And I loved her as much as I possibly could. And that was the best I could do at the time. It evolved a lot more since then. But anyway, point is, after we broke up, my worthiness went down the drain. Like, I didn't feel worthy anymore because, we both tried so hard in the relationship. I just didn't know how to communicate my feelings properly, and it just didn't really work out. Anyway, so as my worthiness is down the drain, the next 2 years of my life I spent not only just partying, also I went to school to try to get my business associates. As I was partying a lot, I also started becoming to acts of service to others. I try to be there as much as I can because I was trying to get my validation and approval met, that I'm worthy, that people like me. And in the back of my head also, I had this thing where it's like, maybe if she ever saw the things that I was doing now, I would be worthy. I would be worthy of her love because I've bettered myself. And sometimes it really does take someone walking away from your life in order for you to grow. And that's what it took for me, is her walking away and me experiencing everything that I could have done better. I started looking back and seeing what I could do to do better. And I started treating people around me I barely even knew better in some ways than I'd ever treated her. Like, I would go out and do these silly things and like go to gardens or whatever, or go to like parks and stuff. And at the time I was more introverted while dating her. But I would do things out of my normal, in the back of my head, always thinking like, oh, maybe this person will also see that I'm valuable and I'm worthy, and they're going to stick around. They're not going to abandon me. They're not going to leave. And yeah, I overextended and I burned out a lot. But one day I did find somebody that I could relate to about being an empath. They were much older than me. They were like 15, maybe 20 years older than me. They sure did have a lot of information about it. That friendship went down the drain at one point because I realized they weren't actually doing all the work and all the things they ever preached about, which, yeah, a lot of it was connected to source and real empath things and how to protect my energy. They did teach me a lot of good things. But they did not do the work themselves. They did not do the work that they preach about. And once I started stepping into healing myself and started realizing I'm overextending this person, when I started pulling away and stopped giving my energy to this person, I became a problem all of a sudden. I'll have to make a part 2. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and do part 2. Damn, dude, I do not like making these long ass videos. All right, part 2 it is. Tune in. All right, so welcome to part 2. Well, on YouTube it won't be part 2. On TikTok it will. Anyway, so to give you an idea of my overextension within this friendship, we did exchange. There was a lot provided, but I ended up finding myself doing more for them than they did for me because, they kind of had like a farm commune type situation, And, at one point, I'd always go and offer, like, oh, we want to come hang out with us and whatnot. And I would go. And then they would always be doing like yard work or something. And then, like, not that it was expected of me to help out, but like every time I got there, they're like, oh, yeah, you can help if you want. But it's like, I thought we were just going to hang out. I didn't know this was going to be the thing. But back then I was, an empath, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I didn't mind. Like, everything I ever did for anybody out of kindness like that was for kindness, was like, here you go. I never expected anything in return until I realized I was getting a payout from it as an empath. I was getting validation and approval and feeling like I had a sense of community, security within friends, that they're gonna like me, that I'm doing all of this for them. And at the time, like, because this person knew about spirituality and source and stuff, like, I kind of looked up to them like a god almost, because my parents never knew this stuff. Nobody around me knew this stuff. Nobody was teaching me or showing me this light. And I really felt really connected. And here's another thing. At one point we were volunteering at this like food bank thing, and they have a lot of animals on their like commune farm. At the end of it, they end up getting a lot of like produce and organic stuff, and so did I. I benefited from it too. This stuff was pretty close to expired, but like free organic food. But I also had to put in work. Like an hour, maybe two would be there, and I'd be moving things around, breaking down boxes, whatever. And if I was with them, there was times where like, the coordinators were saying, hey, get this stuff done real quick. Sometimes they would be like, hey, before you do that, take care of us first. That's what this person said to me one time. Like, take care of us first. But this wasn't the first time they said something like this. But it's like, hey, I just got asked to go do my job here, basically, and you're asking me to go gather food for your animals and take care of us first. And I was like, but in my head, right, at the time, I was people pleasing empath, seeking validation and approval. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Teamwork. I'm part of the team. I feel validated. Like, we're in this together. Sense of like community. But I left my priority and my actual responsibility to the side, right? Because of that yearning to like be loved and appreciated, and to be seen that I'm valuable, that I'm willing to stop doing this responsibility to help serve you, that I will shift my energy towards you and direct it towards you. And towards the end of this friendship, I started choosing myself for months, and I started becoming a problem. Like, I wasn't giving enough. They were guilt tripping me. And then there was times where I'd be like, I really am going through a lot. Like, I didn't know it then, but I was going through a spiritual awakening. What I realized, what was happening in that situation, as I started healing parts of my life and my traumas, and from my dad and the dysfunctional family I was in, I attracted them in a sense, not only just for my life's journey and the agreement that I had when I came down to earth to learn all this stuff and essentially learn unconditional love. Because our falling out of this friendship was not good. And I saw sides of them that, like, the real toxicness finally came out. Like, their unhealed, wounded areas of their lives started projecting. And my point is I attracted this very familial energy from my dysfunctional family, that they treated me in ways that I didn't start noticing until later. And all the guilt tripping, as I started pulling my energy away, started validating that for me. During this falling out, what's funny is because a while back, before my parents divorced, things started getting really ugly at home. And I already had cut down my hours to half. I was only working 24 hours in a week, not 24/7, 24 hours per week at my old career. And I did really well still. But I started like having to like show up more late. I was super depressed, full of anxiety because things were getting really bad at home. I had to like be home more often and like be around my mom to like make sure she's okay and protect her and stuff. So I got let go because I was struggling and I wasn't gonna quit, and the owner of my company knew, and he's like, I think it's best to let you go. And it was the best decision that I was never going to make. I was never going to make this decision. Anyway, so here I am. I'm like, no job, going through all of this stuff, right? This is another divine storm kicking in. And, at least I paid off like all my debt from going to school previously. Because I was let go and I had enough hours, I found out there was a workers retraining program from unemployment because I started getting onto unemployment, right? I was like, what am I going to do to support myself? And there's a workers retraining program. And through that, you can apply to go to school and they'll pay for like the first semester and still pay you unemployment benefits. And I had to pick a program though. And I chose nursing. And I asked for the validation and approval from this friend, this empath knowing friend at the time. And they're like, oh, that'd be great for you because this is where you could really use your empath abilities and stuff and like hype me up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. They pay well. I can work whenever I want, do the thing. So I still had to submit tons of letters, meet with the coordinators of the college, meet with the unemployment teams and tell them why they should do this for me and approve me and why I need it and yada, yada, yada. And then towards the end of this friendship, they claimed that they set that all up for me. That this person put in all that work for me to go through nursing, which I got halfway through and then I decided I don't want to be a nurse. Also, it was that 2020 time when things got real funny and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. My point is these people also claimed that they did this much for me in my downfall, divine storm, that they are the ones that lifted me up. And it's like, no, I did that all myself. I picked my program. I did all that work. And it's like, this is the level of narcissism and people I attracted. They're willing to say and do anything to get you to work for them. Meaning this person knew about empath stuff. They didn't actually live the life of someone who follows and does the work. Because to me, this person just gave up. They said they can connect to source at any time or their higher self at any time and go to that plane. And I'm like, and I had to come to the realization, like there's no, after the friendship ended, I finally realized like, there's no way you're doing that. You may be able to connect and channel some information. I can too. Anybody can. Anybody can. So can you. Just got to tap in, tune in, and turn on. Okay? But if you're not doing the work and your past is deeply wounding you, and this person had a very deeply wounding past, they stopped doing the work. And I started realizing a lot of the stuff they were saying, they knew that they could use me and they took advantage of me. And I gave, though, out of my heart, but also knowing, not knowing until I figured it out, that I was getting a payout, that I was getting validation, approval, and feeling like I had a sense of friends and community and that I'm worthy. That's the dark side of an empath, and that's why empaths will attract narcissists. Because of wounds, traumas within the past, family abuse, when you become an empath. And on top of that, if you're seeking validation and approval from others, if you don't love yourself, if you don't accept yourself, you're going to seek it from other people and it's a subtle manipulation. Okay, and not that narcissists are evil or they don't feel things, they're not empaths, because this person clearly was. They just decided to go down the dark route and manipulate their environment directly to get what they needed. Me, I did it indirectly, like a lot of empaths do. They do it indirectly in ways that's people pleasing. You become a people pleaser because in a sense, you're manipulating your environment to get your needs met. The solution is find out what the payout is, what you're getting, what you're missing and lacking in your life, and just come to the realization that only you can provide that. Nothing outside of yourself, nothing externally can put a smile on your face. Only you can. That's why you go through this struggle to reach the level of unconditional love. And I say it often, this is love without condition. Without the condition needing to change, you can still stay in the vibration of love. By the way, Had I not experienced all the things that I have and all my spiritual awakenings and all my divine storms, I would not be here today making this video. So I'm grateful. And the best way to heal your wounds is to show gratitude, no matter how hard it was, because it only allowed me to become this version of me. Okay. I hope this helps you. I hope this gives you some realizations. And I'm really glad I shared this one. Okay. I will go in more depth in more videos later. I would cram in a bunch. And yeah, much love, cosmic souls. Have a wonderful, magnificent, transformative, alchemizing day. You got this. Love and light vibration out. Bye. Bye.